to set it up. I'm still dealing with tech after 94 interviews as well. I just keep dealing with setting up, etc., and the echo, and it's just going to load. And we will be live. Just give me 1 second. It's all going to go up. I wish I was tech, and it's just, yeah. There we go. There we go. The countdown has begun. 91, 92, 93, 94. We are live, and good evening from India. I know a lot of you are waking up. I had just sent a message across that all of us must see the last interview till 100, and it's immense pleasure to yet. We didn't have a chef yet. We had scientists, we had Air Force officers, we had actors. She's an actor as well, but like her passion for food, her whole thing towards the way she shows up for cooking is so beautiful. And now we have a chef as well in our big basket of 100 mums. Apart from being a mom, Maria, welcome to the book. It's a pleasure introducing you to the world as a mom. And we will have a little conversation about you being a mom. And I always say this, that mothers who live their story tell their story the best. But before we go on to you as a mom, please introduce yourself. There's an international audience who sees replays. They all want to know who you are, and just go ahead and tell your journey, and then we'll go on with questions, which are not going to be too many, but we will.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Maria Goretti. I did start as a chef. I actually started my entire journey as a student of fashion design, who then learned jazz dancing. From there, I joined MTV, and I was an MTV VJ in India for 5.5 years. I did cricket. I covered the World Cup in 2003 from Africa, and in 2002 from Sri Lanka. Then I became a mom in 2000. And I think once I became a mom, I wanted to kind of stay home and savor every moment. And that's what I did. I started learning to cook because I realized I didn't know how to, and I had to feed my kids. And I became obsessed about it, and I wanted to learn more and do more. And then in 2011, I went to Tante Marie, which is a culinary school in the UK. It's a school in Woking. It's a Gordon Ramsay holding. And I learned cuisine, I learned Boulangerie, and I learned bakery there. I came back and I started writing a blog simultaneously. And I used to put out recipes, put out videos. From there, sons, 17.5.
That's okay. My children keep coming and dropping my lights in the lights. That's okay. This is all allowed.
Yeah. Then I continued blogging, and I continued writing, and I started writing poetry somewhere in 2011. And then I think I seamlessly got into doing television shows back again on TV, but this time in my new avatar of being a chef. And I released a book in 2016, which is called From My Kitchen to Yours. And it won the Gourmand in 2017. 16 or 17, so I think 17. And I've just been dabbling with all of this. And right now, in fact, I've just finished dotting my I's and crossing my T's for my poetry book, which should release somewhere this year. And otherwise, this is all that I do. And
it's very, very nicely we always say this is all we do. And then we do so much, and then we just say that we're just a mom. But again, and because this is a candid chat, we were talking and we said, what's the story? That's the story. You became a chef after you became a mom.
Yeah.
Today's mom, in the morning, Sherez was there. And when she became pregnant at the age of 18, she said, my child saved my life because I became pregnant, and she decided to come out of a life that she was carrying on, So our children do a lot of things to us.
Yes.
And we don't even realize what they've done to us. And there it is that your children brought this thing that you were meant to be a chef, and now poetry is going to come out of them as well, I know. because we've had the conversation about. I still remember the umbilical cord is still not cut,
Yeah,
and I told you that that's the poem right there of a mom that must be written.
yeah,
And we're very proud of you, Maria, with this
that's very
new
kind.
heart, and people really love you. You know that people are very fond of seeing your kitchen. Whoever I've told Maria's coming in book are also very glad because they watch your kitchen stuff, and now to know that you just one day decided I don't know how to cook. I'm a mom, so that's how it happens to women. There is, and one day we become a mom. Like that's how everybody says. It was going on, and one day I become a mom, and then the second part and the second phase of your life
Yeah,
starts.
yeah, it does. And it's very interesting how beautifully and organically it all works out.
Yes, it does. It does. And in your journey as a mom, you've been dedicating yourself. You said totally up and down, and I still see it. I still see it. I call you, and then you're running around. And just today, there's a new driver. I have to go to the school. There's this first day of school, and running around doesn't end. And just 2 minutes before, also, it was not ending. Even for me, I think I was just also like just doing something before I was coming and sitting here. So, what is this that your children have brought to your life and how it changed post? And we would definitely want to talk to you about the chef journey, which is beautiful as well.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a call. I don't know why a call can come through while you're on a Zoom call, but I don't understand this technicality. Any which way.
Yeah.
No, so basically, I think it's been quite a beautiful journey. Being a mom is like that ends, because there's always something that you keep learning, or you have to keep unlearning and learning a new way. And I think that kind of keeps you on your, and it changes with of your child's life. Today, I'm actually getting a lot of time to explore what I want to do, but in a funny way, you can't ever, your your umbilical cord, like I talked to you about, is still not cut. And that's, I don't know. I mean, from the kids' side, they all want to fly and be independent. I think it's me still holding on. So I think it's that.
I think all of us are like that, and especially in India. I mean, and my father's mother, who passed away at 83, also felt the umbilical cord was not cut at 83 for him, for her. My grandmother still. I remember I used to call my father, and he used to come back, and she used to say, "Don't jump on his bed. Poor guy is going to be tired." I'm like, your son, like you're 83 years old. I'm sure your son is older than that, and we are very old. Like we were in our 20s, and my grandma was still scolding us because the son has to come back. So that's the thing of mom. And just today I was in a mastermind with a group, and I had it was a beautiful moment because there were 7, 8 women in that mastermind, only one man, and then he raised his hand and he said, "My mom is no more, but my mom's story must be in this book. Will you take her in?" And there were tears in his eyes, and I said yes in 1 second. I said yes. I had the 98 spot empty, and you will, your mom. And then the whole room, including me, were crying because there was a son who really wanted to honor his mom, who's passed away as well, and but he still thinks this book will honor her, and that's the cord that we still all have. Mother is such a thing that we've been bringing, and we've also had an Air Force officer. I keep telling the story, who took her child to Ladakh when she was 2 years old. And you're talking about umbilical cord, and you have to hear this because Sangeeta took her child to Ladakh when he was 2 years old because she didn't want to leave him back in the city, and she's an Air Force officer. Both the husbands were posted in Ladakh. And in 1980s, Ladakh was not the Ladakh it is today. It was the mud houses. And when she tells me that her child ate potato, lentils, and rice for 2 years because there was no food except that, and they managed a pressure cooker. And she would leave her child to the bachelors and go for patrolling, and sometimes even roll him in minus 20 degrees in the blanket and put it in the jeep behind for patrolling at the borders. When you hear a story like that of a
Wow.
mom, you talk about the umbilical cord, she decided to do that. She said, "I'm not leaving him away for 2 years. If I'm going to be there, he's going to be with me. And I brought in the son in the interview, and he's 26 now, and they had a they had a conversation live.
Oh,
It was amazing. So, Maria, this also is all about self-portrait. I was telling you about self-portrait, and you are with camera all the time. Do you also feel that I wish the camera was not there? Do you ever felt that? Because you've been embracing camera forever. So to know that self-portrait, what's your view around self-portraits? Since you've been embracing the camera for almost 20 years now, I think.
25.
Yeah, 25 years. Yeah, we've been seeing for
Yeah,
25 years.
yeah. I think I first got in camera when I was about 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been watching you for that long.
Yeah.
So once you became a mom, did you see a shift? Did you see that things shifted for you? Did you feel that because most of us feel that we're not the same, we physically change, and you have a message which I was talking about. The tummies are all tummies are good. So we will talk about that because that's the message which all of us really need to hear. So what do you have to say about that? The shift of the camera thing because you've been in front of the camera forever. And, how
Yeah.
did that happen?
So the thing is, for me, when I face camera, it's a job. I don't take it any other thing but a job, and a job that's visible to everyone. All of us do various kinds of work in our life. Some of us do it not in front of a camera, and some of us do it in front of a camera. But all of us do a lot of stuff in our life. And the thing is, I knew very early that this is a job. It doesn't make me any special from the next person who is probably the camera person. And today, I mean, or my sound recordist, or my anyone else, or the person who is getting me my water, or the person who's prepping my food, or the person who doing my clothes, do my makeup. Just because they are not in front of the camera does not mean that what they do is not as special as I do.
Beautiful.
So that is something that I knew from really long back. So I never looked at it and never looked at it and felt like, oh my God, what I do is really special. And I never felt like that. I felt okay. We all have a job. We all need, and we all do it. We all do it together, and we do it together. And if we're going to move forward, then we all move forward together. And I completely feel that at all times. Having said that, yes, today when I look at myself on camera, I look very different from what I used to look on camera 25 years ago, and that's only normal. I mean, if I still look the same, there'll be something weird about it, right?
Right.
So,
No,
yeah,
I'm talking more in the sense of the shift that happens when we are not moms and then we become moms. There's always a shift happening in
yeah,
our self-image, and usually we start noticing things that we probably would have not noticed before we were mom. And some things get exaggerated, some things change, some things become beautiful, and a lot of shift happens. And then you came up in the cover of Cosmopolitan with all tummies are good, you know.
yeah,
And that's the self-image embracing that even this book is bringing out, that irrespective of trauma, whatever's happened, you're busy or not busy, we have to embrace self-portrait and move forward with our stories,
yeah,
embracing it visually. And I want you to talk about that because that's one message which all mothers, the minute you have the baby, the tummy is the first thing that everyone's like, oh God, these stretch marks and these things and the fat and the stitches and all that happens to all of us. So
yes.
that message, how did that come about? And all tummies are good and
Actually,
support.
something that was done by Cosmopolitan. It had nothing to do with me per se. They just asked me to be part of it and wanted to know if I'd be comfortable enough to be doing a photograph like that. And my first instinct was yes. Okay. After I did say yes, like 5 days before the shoot, I actually had cold feet. I was like, what am I doing? I've never done photographs like this before. I mean, I was not sure, but I've always been very comfortable with my body. And the fact of the matter is, yes, if your body change when you have a baby. I remember my yoga teacher told me once. I have a picture actually of me at MTV where I was wearing a small crop top and a pair of jeans that were low slung, and that's the only other photograph I have with my exposed tummy. And I remember she asked me once while I was doing my yoga with her. She asked me, she said, "Do you have a photograph of you with your tummy?" So I said, I was thinking, I said, I don't know. Then I said, yeah, I have one. She said, keep it very safe because your tummy is never going to look the same. So I was like, okay, but I really didn't understand what she was saying because I was not a mom then. And I realized the first time around when I had Zeke, my body came back to what it was immediately. Not, I mean, immediately means it took 9 months to come back to what I was rather than fast. There's no faster than that. That's how much of time it takes. And I remember after my second baby is when I realized that my whole body actually changed. It changed at that time. It did not change during the first baby, but it changed after Zenny. And the good thing is that I never thought it was not a nice thing, or I didn't feel less about my body, or have all those thoughts in my head. I just didn't. So somehow I was very accepting of whatever my body,
Right.
yeah, I never thought that I need to look exactly like I need to have abs. I don't have abs. I've never had them. Okay. So I'm not going to have them. I'm not somebody who works out in a gym 3 hours or, eats carbless food or have sugar. Or I'm not one of those people. And I love, I love, I love, I love being comfortable in my skin. I love being comfortable in the clothes that I wear and how I feel. And I think that, something that all of us today, all of us moms, all of us women, forget even if you're not a mom, even if you're a woman, age changes your body. And I think you need to be accepting of it. I'm not saying you need to just, give up on life and just not look after yourself. Of course, you must look after yourself, but you can't go so nuts about it that's it's affecting you emotionally and spiritually and psychologically. You have to also you have to also be practical about things in life. And I think if you can kick that practicality into your life, that it becomes easier to deal with everything, and you have to be more accepting of what it is, and
Right.
then you're fine.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just interesting that I've started the whole self-portrait movement across the world, and I do workshops around self-portrait, and it's becoming a tool of transformation. When I started talking about it, people were just like, "How can it transform?" When we spend 5 days, when we spend 5 days exploring, I have these question answers, we have exercises, and I always say it's not about start taking more pictures of yourself. It's about that woman who stands in front of the camera and what she thinks of herself. And these are daily, women who go to corporate, they're scientists, they're busy working day and night, and then suddenly camera faces them, and the child is coming and posing next to them, and then they're like, we don't want it. We don't want it, and then we don't want it when we start discovering there are breakthroughs happening for women, and we're like, women have said that all I didn't like was I didn't like myself all this while, and they've been missing from their children's pictures. And I always say that the best gift you can give to your children as a photographer. I'm a photographer for 20 years. I started baby and child photography in this country, but and I have had breakthroughs during this process. So everybody knows the story of my mom, but I don't like my mom left when I was 6 years old, and I don't have a picture of her. So when you become a mom or you have a moment when you want to hold on to it, you don't have a picture. And when moms say no, and when moms say no to these pictures of hugging and children and giving them these things for the future, when they open the album, which they don't anymore, if we in today we're so surrounded by cameras, COVID, photography, this, that, and the moms are saying more and more no to the pictures, we're not ready to come forward. And then we realize it's all because the dark circles are too long. In fact, Anna was there, and she was you know her, and her interview she was saying, my son just went on Zoom saying that I'm going to put concealer because he saw me putting a concealer on Zoom and said, even I have dark circles, so I need to go and put. So that's the ripple effect on children that we are putting constantly when we talk self-negative talk about our body. I've caught myself saying, "Oh, my hair was so much better before I was a mom," and it's just not a. It's not a. thing that you do purposely, but you just avoid it, you avoid things, things have changed, and you make comments like that, but you don't know your children are listening and the ripple effect that happens on them. And that's why this project came up. One, to say to children that it's not about your image, this selfie, this pout, that's not photography. Photography is about memories, photography is about celebrating yourself, photography is about embracing your image. And then also your mom to be not seeing, putting somebody in front of the body. Usually all my, like I see this, I've been 20 years a photographer. They put somebody in front of the body, their child or somebody, they will not come full body. And then they try to be in that one smile, they know they look nice, and then just quickly go away or stay behind the camera. But what about your child or your grandchildren to know that there were other colors to it? There were times when you were holding oil and there were these judas that you used to make and buns, and there were times when you were doing crazy things and you were dancing, you were wearing loose shirts and everything, and just celebrating the motherhood and gifting those. So the self-portrait movement is moving ahead in that direction of letting women express themselves and opening up and freeing themselves body-wise and say, and that's why I said, Maria, when I saw that in Cosmopolitan, it aligns with the project, because coming boldly ahead and say, it just doesn't matter. These are part of me and this is me, and kids came out and it was a great thing and so many messages goes through it. And your children embrace it when they see you like that, showing yourself up, saying that, and saying yes to Cosmopolitan also is a great thing. It's not that Cosmopolitan did it, it's that you feel like that. And
I was very happy to be part of it. Let me tell you, I'm very happy I did that issue. I was very happy to be part of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I look back now, I'm like, I'm glad.
yeah, and so am I. So am I. And we are being an audience, international audience here coming up. This message will amplify through this for sure, and I will make sure, because this book is called 100 Self-Portrait, 100 Dreams, and your self-portrait probably is going to be about the tummies now, and sending that message out, because this book is getting a lot of love. I don't want to take a lot of time of yours, Maria, because you're so caught up with so many things, but this book is called 100 Self-Portrait, 100 Dreams, and all these 100 moms have dreams and they've declared their dreams here. And I want to know what's Maria's dream, because you're saying that we 100 women will hold each other's dream and make this dream possible. So dream big, say it out loud, even the biggest dream that you think is crazy of this thing, you can say it out loud, and then we can have a wrap for this interview, and welcome to the book with that.
Okay. So
I already like what you're about to say, because I can already see that you're going to say something. Okay, now that she give me permission to go crazy, I will tell you what my dream is. All right.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to open a little cafe. And I keep saying the word little. And every time I say this to somebody, they always tell me, Maria, little does not make money. Okay. But I don't know about that. But I've always wanted a cafe that opens at 8 o'clock in the morning and shuts at 5 o'clock in the evening, where you have a fixed menu. And that's about that. And it's a place that's not going to be cheap. Okay, it's going to be expensive, because everything there will be made fresh and will be put out there fresh for the day. And it's something that I've had with me for really many years, and I've never yet got down to doing it, because I'm very frightened inside me about doing something like this and putting myself out there, because I know me as a product, but I don't know what I make with my hands as a product. Though I know it, there's a bit of there's a lot of fear inside me about running a business. I don't know the B of business. I've seen a lot of friends around this, and some of them do it beautifully, some of them struggle with it, and but it's still something that has just stayed with me through the years. And I also know I don't want it to be in one of those really big commercial places. It has to be a place that you drive to come if you want this, and not something that's easily accessible, and yet everybody will be there. So I know it sounds crazy.
It doesn't. And I just think that today that you've put it out in the universe, this must happen. Put a date to it, because
Oh,
this is beautiful. You know, Maria, and that's why you find a lot of love as Maria, because this is what I hear when I hear, yes, you come from a celebrity background, you're a celebrity, people love you, but people say that she's so relatable. This is so relatable. A little cafe. I don't want a five-star hotel, I want a little cafe. Maria can open a five-star hotel, but she wants a little cafe. And she's scared. She's scared like any other woman or a mother is to do that. And I mean, this is the beautiful part about you, Maria, and that's why holding hands with these mothers and you've just your dream is very clearly described. It's all in your head, very clear, right? It's just action to be taken, and there it would be, and the little cat, like when you were saying it, you literally took me. It was like a story, and you literally took me to that place. I could see the sunlight, I could just feel the cafe, I could see a remote place, I could see people driving and maybe booking appointments and then coming only by appointments, and then this is what it is. You don't get choices, but what I've made, you've made it. Because I've decided this is what's going to happen,
yeah.
and um, and that's a beautiful dream, and that must come true. It must, even if it happens for a year, even if it happens for 2 years, and you've done it. It's so clearly defined, Maria, and I really encourage you to put that out, because that tap on the on the desk, like, all right, was like, it was a moment of conversation. I never used to talk like this, university, etc. But these mothers in this last journey of mine, has I met the healers, I've met all these people in this journey, and they've made me believe that it's all happening because the universe wants it. So that tap was like, all right, here I come. That's what it meant. And I really wish you that, and it will only happen when you make it happen, Maria. So let's make this happen. Let's make this cafe. There's no harm dreaming and drawing it and putting it in your poetry book as well. Maybe there's, see, because I told you I headed a poetry movement for 12 years in Delhi.
Yeah.
And I spoke to poets. So there's another poem about your cafe, and then once the poem comes out, maybe the cafe also becomes real, and we
Yep.
all we all will visit that cafe with appointments and the menu of the day, and it will be awesome, because I think so many years doing what you're doing, your food is going to be amazing for sure. And don't fear that at all, at all. And I already am living your dream, and I'm sure through this interview, the moms are going to live that dream, because all of us are living each other's dreams. My dream is these 100 dreams to come true. That's my dream. So I'm already living your dream. So welcome to the world of this 100 dreams of these mothers across the world. And we welcome you to the book. I'm waiting for your picture, for your story, and I'm also waiting to finish. I turned 40 on the 3rd of February. The 100th mom is going to happen on 3rd February, on my 40th birthday, 8 a.m.
Wow.
And we have some incredible moms lined up next 6 months across the world again. And I will meet all of you in person, because I'm done sitting across this screen and fine. But I did it. I had a 4-month-old, breastfeeding him, sleepless nights when I started this project, learning about it, brought it in, from Bangalore. I moved to Pune. When I started this project, a new city, with a 1-year-old in my hand, who was still breastfeeding at the age of 2. I did this sitting on the screen, and we got 100 women together who have 100 dreams and who are going to come in this book. And we are going to meet. I'm saying it again and again, because I wake up every morning and I see my car stopping, and I see Kara, I see Patty, I see Debbie, I see Lucy, I see you, I see everybody. And I walk in, and there's just a big 100 moms hug together. And moms are going to get honored, and moms will never feel that they are just moms. That's the message of the book. I'm waiting for your poetry book. I'm waiting for your cafe. I'm living your dream, Maria. All of us will. And good luck for this dream. And I'm waiting one day to just message me, Shikha, the cafe is registered. The name is done. Yeah, making it happen. I'm good at that. So I am telling you that I'm living it today with 100 other dreams which are coming in this book. And we are going to support this dream, at least in our mind first, and then come and visit it in physical life.
So much for that. Thank you.
Welcome to the book. We have a lot of people in the comment. I'm going to I'm going to reply to all of you. Thank you so much for either joining us. We have a scientist, I have to say, the very humble scientist, because I don't speak out her name very often, but she works in DRDO making drones for our defense, and she goes every day in the morning. In COVID, nobody stops her from going. She still has to go and do her work with the defense. So, Bhavni, so we salute you and we honor you anyway for this. Rashmi is here, Aarti is here. Everybody is just commenting. I will reply to them. Thank you, Maria. You have more work to do, and you have an extra work of creating your cafe now, and the poetry book, and the writing of the two poems that I'm waiting for, and I shall see you soon. So
Thank
don't
you.
go off. I'm just going off live for 1 second before I say off. I'll say bye bye to everybody else,
Okay.
and we are off.